Earlier in the show, I had a great conversation with Ann Berry about Sam Bankman-Fried, who became this sort of boy wonder, Birkenstock shoe-wearing kid who somehow pulled the wool over Silicon Valley's eyes, and that meant they're pulling the wool over your eyes. You know, I think this is a good time in the show, that as we end it, to talk about also the role in all of this of financial media, who continue in many ways to let retail investors down. Retail investors, also known as our viewers. And even they've even gone a step further in the last few years, just totally disrespecting our viewers by calling them dumb and always finding a way to laugh at their expense. Give you an example. So yesterday, I'm toggling the channels. I see CNBC, and you get this breaking news coming out on WeWork, right? And there was a chuckle. The stock. Someone commented something to the effect that the stock had been beaten down so much that it was a meme stock, right? Of course, the inference was that the dummies on Main Street would now start to trade the stock higher. You know, of course, the story was different when Adam Neumann, the founder of WeWorks, was making the media rounds, including financial media, to sell his vision of the world. And by the way, he was being lauded, absolutely lauded. Like Sam Bankman-Fried, they treated these guys like, yeah, they had the answers. And guess what? You wanted to be part of the action. And of course, he laid it on thick about growing up, loving a sense of community while living on a kibbutz. But he was also curious when he was young, right? Because he was living there and everybody was paid the same salary. So he said to himself, well, golly, you put in more work and someone makes as much money as you. And he claims that was the inspiration for WeWork. It was a capitalist kibbutz. But Silicon Valley, they, of course, love the idea, right? Here's the thing. They did 23 rounds of funding. They raised $22 billion. And as a private valuation, this company went to $47 billion. Now, they couldn't pull off the IPO. Too many things started going wrong. If they could have pulled it off, you would have bought this at $100 billion. Instead, it became a $9 billion SPAC. Now, it was obvious at that point, Wall Street knew this was a scam. I mean, that explains the reason it wasn't an IPO at 100 and it was a SPAC, and the reason they rushed it. They had to get, some people had to make an exit. Remember, you're the exit. The stench was getting so bad that everyone could smell it, so they went ahead and did a SPAC. So now the stock has been crushed, absolutely hammered. And guess what? You're absolutely right. Some retail traders are looking at it, kicking a can and say, we want to get in it. We can trade this thing. They shouldn't be the butt of jokes, though. That is despicable. By the way, I would rather buy this stock at 20 cents, okay, than at down 99.9% than when the media was telling me the smart money, demanding that I buy it, demanding that you buy it. Think about that for a moment. When this stock was extraordinarily higher, they said it was a good buy. You know, I've seen actually stocks rise out of the ashes before. I was short Alexander's. It was a department store in New York. They were going to file for bankruptcy. Everyone thought the stock was going to go to zero. Turns out that their real estate was worth so much, so instead of going to zero, it went to like $500 a share. The bottom line is people are buying something at this moment. They know what they're getting into. They know it's a 20-cent stock that's in trouble. But when the smart money was offloading this junk and pulling the wool over Main Street's eyes, they were saying, get in there. Now you're dumb for buying it. So same thing with economic data, folks. All of this stuff, it just never changes. All I'm saying is, it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate that you watch us to learn for guidance, and the best you can get sometime out of us is to dish you. To dish you, ironically enough, for buying the crap that was foisted on you by the brilliant folks on Wall Street, and often their talking mouths, the talking heads that work for them, not for you. I work for you, okay? I want you to do well. I'm not always right. Believe me, this is a humbling business, but I can tell you right now, what you should never be called dumb money again. And with that, I'll give it over to my colleague Liz Clayman, who has much respect for you as well.
You know what? You're talking my game right now. We never had Adam Neumann on. We never had Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos on. Both of them in different ways absconded with a lot of money and left other people holding the bag. But we did not pound the table on this network for either of those people.
Right.
Somebody else did, though, another network.
Yep,
right.
Always.
Charles.